What's up, y'all? Hope y'all can hear me. All right, then. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing on this Sunday? I know it's full Sunday, but yeah, the show must go on. We ain't gonna keep you long this week. If you watch it from the replay, make sure that you put it in the chat. That's your replay game. All right, y'all gotta bear with me. I'm in the process of doing some new things, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm straight. You know, I think I said that at the anyway. Excuse what you see here. Excuse that. So this is welcome back to Kerah Speaks. Today we are talking about how curiosity for you isn't always a good thing. You know, some people they can be very curious about you and be very interested in who you are, and that's all they are. It's just interested. And sometimes, if you're not careful, you can find yourself getting caught up in someone being intrigued by you instead of actually wanting to learn you and understand you as a person. So that's what we're going to talk about today. As you can see, when curiosity isn't as innocent and it becomes a substitute for self work, that's what we're talking about today. Make sure that I got all of the things together. Also, when you're coming into the room, make sure that you are liking this video. They put out to the algorithm. Make sure everybody can see this video. So make sure that you like the video. Give me a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and check right there, that button. Make sure it says subscribe. We are trying to grow this channel. I'd like to get at least 500 subscribers by the end of the year. And I believe that I can do it. I know that I can do it. So if you can go ahead and do that for me, hit that subscribe button. I want to try to get new subscribers every single week. Every video that I put out every single week, I want to make sure that I get new subscribers. Because, like I said, I am building a community here, a community for people who get it, a community for people who are ready and understand. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I thank you all for watching on this Super Bowl Sunday. Who y'all fan? Who y'all got? Who you got for the Super Bowl? The Seahawks or the Patriots? Honestly, I don't really care. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't give a damn. Okay, I don't care at this point. I'm a college football fan. I have another channel called Crimson Watch where I talk about the Alabama Crimson Tide. I am a super fanatic. This room actually used to have a lot, Alabama stuff that carried me from my other content, but I have cleaned it up a little bit. So right now it is all about Kerah Speaks right now. So tell me who you think gonna win the Super Bowl for tonight. Let me know. Put your team in the chat. Put your scores in the chat. But like I said, this ain't the sports channel over there on Crips and Watch. Um, if you already watched the game, you watching on the replay. Did your team win, or do you care? I don't really care about the Super Bowl because they got Bad Bunny. I'm not a Bad Bunny fan. I'm not. That's not something. That's not my jam. You know. But it should be, I guess, interesting. I don't know. I'm just not really feeling sports. I guess what's going on with the world right now, I'm not really interested in the NFL. I'm not interested in seeing millionaires, play. And we got uh, federal police out here killing Americans in the street. So I'm just not interested in seeing millionaires play for more millions and multimillionaires continue to make more money while people are out here suffering. So that's just me. I ain't mean to get too deep, but like I said, you can go to kerahspeaks.com if you want to get my merch. Also, my book is still available. Healing Cost Me Everything. It is on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. Kerahspeaks.com is where I have my sweatshirts, t-shirts, pullovers, hats, beanies, whatever you fancy. You can go in there right now and get it. But let's go ahead and get into it because, like I said, I don't want to keep y'all too long because I know the Super Bowl starts shortly if it hasn't started already. But today we are talking about, like I said, when curiosity becomes a substitute for people's own self worth. Um, you know, sometimes here's the thing: you don't really notice it. It's very subtle at times, right? But it's very real. And I think when people say that they are interested in you, I think especially if you are a person who is not really out there. Like you keep to yourself. You're calm. You're collected. You always, move, march at the beat of your own drum. You do your own thing. You're not concerned about what people think, how you look. You dress how you want to dress. You act how you want to act, and you're not looking for validation from other people. And some people can be really interested in that because they don't have that within themselves. So they will find themselves attaching themselves to you and wanted to see like what you're all about. They kind of want to get in your brain. Like, how are you able to show up in the world like that? How do you walk in the room and command the room? And people, they want to know, they're curious about you. And not in a malicious type way, it's just curiosity. They're curious about your life. They're curious about, your healing or your light. And they want a piece of it. They want a piece of it. Not in a way to hurt you, but in a way to try to hope that some of that light will rub off on you. And I want to be clear, like this live show is not about diagnosing people who may be in your life. It's not about condemning people either, because a lot of times the way we show up in life is just based off our own personal experiences. It's about the patterns that people exhibit that they have been exhibiting, and it's just the patterns that I have noticed and I have experienced and grown through myself. So this conversation today is just really about awareness and not being judgmental. Because there have been times that I have been intrigued by people, not in a way to attach myself to them, but I've just been intrigued just to see how their mind works. So yeah, I've been on both sides of this dynamic, at different points in my life. And I'm also saying like ain't nothing wrong with people being curious about people. Curiosity isn't the issue. Avoidance is. Avoidance is the issue. So that's what we're talking about today. Again, if you could go ahead and put a thumbs up in the chat. Make sure that you like this video. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, Tristan, ain't nobody talking about no Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons ain't playing. Okay? The Falcons are not playing. Oh, I can make you a moderator. There you go. There you go. Handle it. Handle it. Handle my stuff. Any comments you see in here that is not becoming, block them. Okay? Block them. I made you a moderator. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like this. I like this. All right. Anyway, let's get back to the show. All right. So, what do I mean by people being curious, right? So, I'm not talking about healthy curiosity. I'm talking about people who are genuine, or I'm not talking about healthy curiosity or people who are actually genuine. I'm talking about people who are empty, who are bored, who are so disconnected with themselves that they have to figure out what's going on with you in hopes that something about you will rub off on them. The people who have not done their own inner work, who haven't sat down with themselves to say, how do I feel? Let me understand my inner world. So they pay attention to everybody else. They compare themselves to everybody else. Instead of turning inside, they turn and look out to see what everybody else is doing. So they become intrigued by people who are, like I said, very self aware, very expressive, very grounded. There has been times where people have come to me and they say, you know what, Kerah, you're like your energy is just so cool. Like you got a cool vibe and you just seem very like grounded and calm, and that intrigues people. People just say, I love your vibe. And that I used to be flattered by that, and I know what they're really saying. Like, I know what you're saying because me personally, I'm a woman of faith. So when people say those things to me, I don't take it as like an ego boost. I understand what you're saying. You're seeing the Holy Spirit in me. It has nothing to do with me per se. It's my relationship with the Father. So when you say you love my light, you love my energy, what you're saying is you see the Father in me, and you're and it's showing on the outside, right? So I have heard that before, but there have been times where I have heard that from people who don't want to build with me. They want to extract from me. They want to attach themselves to me because my energy gives them something that they want to attach to. And I did not understand that until after the fact. And sometimes you don't even really see it coming. You have to be aware of where people are in their life when they say things like that to you. When they say they love your energy or they get close to you, because sometimes it happens really fast, right? They come to you and they attach themselves to you really fast, and sometimes the chemistry can be so high, and you were like, oh my gosh, like I really love this person, I really enjoy being around them. Because sometimes you are intrigued by people. Sometimes you are curious. Sometimes the best friendships happen with a spark, or relationships happen with a spark, where you meet each other and you're like, oh my goodness, you're so cool. I like, wow, let's get to know each other more. And then you together forever. But sometimes, if it's a spark and it's really fast, it's usually, and if for somebody that is intrigued by you or curious by you, it may be because they have something that is empty inside of them, and they don't know how to fill that void within themselves. So they try to attach themselves to you in hopes that it will make them feel something, right? Um, but that's not healthy curiosity. Healthy curiosity is reciprocal. It is reciprocal self-awareness. Um, Unhealthy curiosity is when you are taking from somebody without replenishing. You kind of feel like when you're on the when you are on the receiving end, and while you extracting from somebody else, that other person, it's like they are watching. They're just watching you just constantly take from them, and they're trying to. They feel this heightened sense of, oh, this is exciting, and I want to give more of myself to this person because I'm trying to build something closer and deeper. And the whole time they're just like, let me just see how much more I can pull, because they can never pull enough. It's never enough till you're depleted. They're gonna keep taking and taking and taking until you are just gone. Because what they're doing is they're trying to feel something inside of themselves. They are so empty and so disconnected from themselves. They just, let me pull, pull, pull. And you, being a genuine, honest, giving person, you're going to keep giving. You're going to keep loving. You're going to keep showing up. You're going to keep being yourself, your grounded self. And you're going to start feeling like you're being pulled at and you're not being replenished, while they keep trying to get it and they never get it. They keep trying to, what I personally believe is they are trying to find a flaw. They don't believe that you are who you say you are. So they continue to try, let me find something wrong. There's got to be something, because nobody in this world is that grounded. Nobody in this world is that healed or self-aware about themselves, this confident. Let me find something. And when they never do, they get disappointed. They get disappointed because they have put you on a pedestal, right? They put you on a pedestal, even though they don't say they do. They put you on a pedestal. And when they can't find anything wrong with you, they say, well, you're fake, right? You're not being honest. I see right through you. You're not the real person. When honestly, you're just being yourself. There's nothing, you're not performing, you're just being you. And they cannot understand that, right? And so that's where it becomes extremely draining, right? They start to, that's because people like that, what you give them is never enough. It's never enough because they are void, and they avoid themselves. They avoid their own answers. They're very deflective. It's really hard to build with those type of people. Have any of you ever experienced people like that in your life, or are you currently experiencing somebody like that in your life? Let me check the comment. Thank you. I appreciate it. Security is here. I appreciate it because somebody came here already. Already. James Kennedy, hey, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Um, so yeah, so let's talk about when it becomes dangerous, right? Here's the thing. Like I said, um, people find you intriguing, but they don't want to honor you because they're not trying to get to know you. They're trying to get to know and feel themselves through you. And that's when it becomes dangerous because curious people don't know what they want. They don't know what they want because they don't know who they are. So they test themselves against you. Like I just said, it's that spirit of comparison. They will constantly compare themselves to you, and they will start to resent you because they realize that they cannot be like you. They can't be as confident as you. They can't be as honest with themselves as you do. So what do? They do their best to try. So they start mirroring. They start mirroring you. I can only speak from my own personal experience. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a therapist. I'm not a preacher. I'm just a person who went to therapy and did the work. And I'm sharing my experiences with you. Okay. Again, this is not to diagnose people. This is not to make people out to be bad people. I'm just speaking on my experience and my truth. So, my experience, I have witnessed people try to mirror me, right? And it never made me feel seen. It never made me feel understood. It made me feel copied. And I hate when people copy me because I am an advocate for people being authentic, being yourself. Be yourself. Do not try to be like me. And I noticed that they started to use the same words that I would use, or do the same movement at certain times. And uh, I'm a person who lives in the depth, right? In the depths of my emotions, in the depths of whatever it is. My default is depth, emotional depth, right? And they tried to mirror that same thing. And for a minute, it was good, but it wasn't sustainable. I started to be able to pick up on the performance because you can only perform for so long. When you are truly a person who lives authentically and who really lives in the depths of your emotions, you can see when somebody is pretending. You can see it. I wasn't always the type of person to be vulnerable, but I thought deeply about a lot of things. And that kind of thing, you can only pretend for so long. So I was able to pick up, and when the mask started to crack, and I ended up calling it out, right? And so when I started to think about it over time, I realized, like, oh, this person is borrowing, trying on my personality. They're trying to orbit my life to see how it feels because this person was intrigued by me. And it's not just one person. I've had this experience many times with many different people. All these people didn't even know each other, but they were all intrigued by me and who I was. So they wanted to be around me to see what it felt like, to see if they can shrink me, to see if they can put me in a box to make me smaller because they felt smaller. And when it didn't work, then they say, this is too much. But you have to remember that that's not your responsibility. You were just being you, minding your business, living your life. And then people come into your life, and because they haven't done their own work to heal, to know who they are, to understand their inner world. They attach themselves to people over and over and over again, leaving a trail of hurt, confusion, and just and just conflict to each and every person because they haven't done the work within themselves. And honestly, and I'm like I said, I'm not. It's not about making people feel like they are less than or to say that these are bad people, because I don't believe. I truly, some people is, but I truly don't believe that it is intentional harm that they are trying to do. It is avoidance of themselves. It is avoidance, and it's just simply people just refuse to do the work. I ain't even gonna say they refuse to do the work. They're not diving into the work that it takes to understand yourself. They want to substitute. They want to do a shortcut. Well, let me go attach myself to this person so I can maybe mirror their behavior. And if I fake it long enough, maybe I'll become that. But it don't work like that. You can't you can't shortcut healing. You can't. Being curious about something is not the same as self-worth. You be curious about yourself. Learn about yourself first. Don't be curious about somebody else because you don't know their story. You don't know what it took for them to be this way. You don't know how many times they had how much they have felt insecure. You don't know how much they had to build their confidence. You have no idea about their life. So to try to attach yourself to feel something through somebody else is never going to work. You got to go within yourself. You got to answer to the Father. You got to ask the Father, hey, help me understand who I am. Show me what I want so I don't have to feel like I need somebody else to validate me. So I don't have to try on somebody else's personality. So I don't have to continue to hurt people over and over again because I'm hurt. That's that saying, hurt people hurt people. It is not your responsibility or your fault at what happened to you, but it is your responsibility not to hurt other people while you're going through your own shit. You know what I'm saying? Put a one in the chat, y'all understand. The lack of self-trust is so draining. You're always chasing their feelings up. That's right. That's right. In that message. Absolutely. So I had to ask myself, why do I keep attracting these type of people? Why? Because like I said, it wasn't just one person. It was quite a few people that I was attracting these type of people. It was quite a few. And I was like, why do I keep attracting these people? And that was something I had to talk about in therapy. Um, and I realized that, and this is really what kind of shook it for me. This is kind of what turned the light on and kind of was like a quickening to understand. I realized that people who are grounded and expressive and emotionally honest about themselves become mirrors to people. And sometimes people do not like the reflection that they see when you are their mirror. It is they're either going to look at it or they're going to look away at it when it cracks. And when it cracks, they're going to blame you. They're going to blame you. My best friend told me, she said, it's not that people don't like you. They just like you too much and they don't know what to do with it because you're a mirror. People who are void themselves are drawn to mirrors. They're drawn to that. Even though they hate facing themselves, they're drawn to people who reveal how they feel about themselves. Because imagine, right? Think about this. For example, if you are stagnant in your life, you're not doing anything, but you got dreams, you got things in your heart that you really want to do. And then you get next to somebody who is doing the exact thing that you want to do. They building this business, they making money, they traveling all over the world, they doing exactly what you've been dreaming about your entire life. Before you met them, you weren't thinking about that. You had it in the back of your mind. It was something like, yeah, I want to do that one day. But you surround yourself with people who ain't doing nothing just like you. They just chilling, right? So they don't remind you of what you want to do. But then you get around this person and you're like, wow, that's what I aspire to be. But instead of learning how to be that for yourself, you attach yourself to this person because you want to be in proximity because they make you feel good about yourself in the moment. But once you see that who they are, It takes real work to do that. You don't see the sleepless night, how hard they work, how many years it took for them to get to where they were. You see all that work. And then you ask them advice and say, hey, help me be this. And they say, okay, I'll tell you how to be this. You got to do A, B, C, and D. And they say, oh, no, that's too much. That's too much. I don't want to do all that now. And they get upset with you now. Like, they want me to do too much. I don't want to do all that. I'm good. But see, before you knew them, you didn't even realize that that was something even attainable that you can be. But now that you do know it, you upset because you can't be it. Because now they reflect something in you that you are not. It has nothing to do with them. They have done nothing in their life to hurt you, to make you feel bad about yourself. You feel bad about yourself because they are doing something that you want to do. That's how mirrors work. Some people can be next to a mirror and they can see their reflection and they can see the possibility of what they can be. They can say, I can be that. And it motivates them. It inspires them to say, I want that for myself. I'm going to go out and get it for myself. And now I have this person next to me who can support me, who I can lean on because they've been there. They understand. Instead of resenting them for being somewhere and doing the work that you decided not to do. That's how that works. And that took me a lot of understanding. When I understand that it's not me, I am a mirror, I am a light. And sometimes that light shines brightly on people and it inspires them, but sometimes that light burns. That light will burn them. And people don't like the heat. So they get out of the kitchen. They can't take it. So I realized that they don't want growth. I want growth. I can't be around people who don't want growth. I don't want a community that don't want to grow. I just don't. And I'm not going to normalize that because for me, I need to self-reflect. I need to self-reflect. It is imperative for me to grow. And when I self-reflect and learn more about myself, it allows me to understand other people, right? And I realized that this experience is not just unique to me. It's unique to a lot of different people. This, people being intrigued by your depth, it happens in friendships, it happens in dating, it happens in, online communities. A lot of people get a lot of followings from people who, may not, especially if you like a motivational speaker or you talk about healing or whatever, a lot of people are drawn to that because they want that, especially if you're talking about relationships, you're talking about, you know, they say misery loves company, right? So I think a lot of people gather in spaces where they want to feel heard, they want to feel seen, they want to go somewhere where things resonate with them. And so when you are a person who is giving, healing, you use a therapeutic language and you talk about healing, people are drawn to that, and people want to attach themselves to you. They want to learn more about you. And you really have to protect yourself. You really have to have discernment to know, like, okay, if you want to be in my life, like, have you done the inner work within yourself? Um, and I just don't want to put myself in that situation again where I feel like I'm being drained and being extracted from because people don't want to grow with me, you know. When you've done your inner work, your presence feels like relief to people, you know, who haven't done their inner work. It's just like I was talking about with social media. People gather in one place because they wanna feel something. So when they see you, it's like, it's like a relief. But like I said, it takes work. It takes real work, and people just don't be wanting to do that. So, um, let's take a break. We'll listen to the comments. That's why our friends are jealous. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's why friends are jealous of your friendship with others. That's the truth. They suck the blood out like vampires. Absolutely. Absolutely. And what happens when you lose too much blood? You feel drained. You feel drained. I've been the person that people are curious about my clarity, curious about how I move and thought, how I spoke, just about my personality. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna take some accountability here. I mistook that for care. We all do, right? I thought intrigue meant connection. I thought that meant that we were meant to be friends. I thought that meant we had some platonic chemistry. Like, oh, this person gets me. This person understands me. When you are a person who has deep clarity, it is so imperative and so rare that people understand you on a deep level. Very rare. And so when people who are disconnected from themselves mirror you in that way as if they get you, it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, finally, somebody understands me in the way that I want to be understood. And it's not to say that I didn't have people in my life who understood. I did. The difference is, this was something that was just, fresh and new, and it happened so fast. So I mistook it for, connection. I mis intrigue for actual care. And it took some time for me to understand or to see that this is not it. This is a performance. This is the illusion of care. This is the illusion of closeness. And that can really hurt a person along the lines, especially when you are a person who lives in the deep end and you are a genuine person. It can really hurt a person. It can really make you bitter and make you not want to get close to anybody else. That's why therapy and faith are so important. That's why forgiveness is so important because you don't want to harden your heart, right? You don't want to harden your heart. And you have to pray for discernment. You have to pray for discernment because the only reason that you would feel that you could misunderstand intrigue for care is if you are missing something on the inside. There is a void somewhere that says, I need something to touch the deepest parts of me. And for a minute, it feels like that, but it's temporary. But if you look to the Heavenly Father to fill that void, then you won't get caught up in things that are misaligned for you. When you pray for alignment, when you pray for discernment, to be able to catch the signs, to catch the warning signs, to be like, no, you know what, this doesn't feed my soul. You won't get caught up in the quick, microwavable connections. You will understand what deep and meaningful connection actually look like and what they actually feel like. And so you'll be able to pay attention like, okay, are these people, if this relationship is moving fast, right? And it feels like we're moving closer. It feels like we are building a connection, but you got to step outside and you say, hey, is this person moving closer to themselves? Am I moving closer to myself? Am I moving further away from spirit? Because this is another thing we got to talk about. When you mistake mis when you mistake intrigue for connection and you turn down your discernment, you are moving away from the Holy Spirit. You're not listening. Because the Holy Spirit in the entire time when I experienced this, the Holy Spirit was tapping me on my shoulder the whole time. He was tapping me on my shoulder the whole time, telling me, pay attention, pay attention. And I didn't. And in the end, I got hurt because of it. And the thing is, the Father, He don't allow us to get hurt because He don't love us. He wants us to learn a lesson. So we don't have to keep learning the same lesson over and over. And man, when I tell you I learned the lesson, I learned it. Because like I told you, I have been in this situation quite a few times because I wasn't learning the lesson. I done learned a lesson now. That way I'm able to pick up when people are just intrigued by me and not really wanting to know who I am, know who Kerah is. Now I get it. Now I listen to the Holy Spirit. You can't trick me again. You can't fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Can't get fooled again. Word to George Bush. Okay? Can't get fooled again. You ain't gonna get me no more. So you gotta make sure that while you're getting closer to them, you're not getting closer away from the Father and your relationship with Him. Because that should guide us in everything we do. That should guide us in all of our relationships. That should be the center of Him. If we are honoring Him, then we should be honoring each other in the way we honor Him. Because He should be in the middle of all of these things. And if he's not, then you will be able to tell very quickly when something ain't right, you know? So, yeah, y'all might be close, but you just might be close in proximity and not in emotion, you know? So, my realization was I didn't want people to just study me. I don't want to be intrigued. I don't need more people learning I don't need people in my close community circle to be studying me. I don't want people learning, you know, not learning me because I want my people to learn me. But I don't want people mirroring me, performing closeness with me. I don't want you being intrigued by me. I want you to be curious, a healthy curiosity, but I want you to be intrigued with yourself. I want you to know yourself. I want you to be so enamored and connected with yourself that having someone else in your life is a bonus, something that you want to share. I want you to be able to share yourself with me and me to share myself with you and not to have to extract from me in order to help you feel something. I want you to already feel something about yourself. That's why it's so important for me now to have friends who are confident, who love themselves, who have self-worth. And that's not a shot at people who are dealing with low self-esteem. I get it. We all have moments of low self-esteem, but you can't stay there. You can't stay there because you will drag people down with you and you will start treating people exactly how you feel about yourself, right? So, it's important to have people who love themselves. Because if you love yourself, I know you're going to love me. Because loving yourself is loving the Father, because He loves us. If you love yourself, I know you're going to love me right. Because I want you to be crazy about you. I want you to be the main character in your own story. That's how much I want you to love yourself. Not a selfish love, not an egotistical love. I'm talking about the love that comes from the Father, the love that He gave us. Why would we not want to love ourselves? I want you to love yourself so much that I would be able to see it in how you show up in life, at the type of decisions that you make for yourself. That's the type of love I want you to have for you if you want to be in my community. That's the standard that I hold for myself, and that's the standard that I hold with my people. I don't want to be just have somebody next to me. I want to be partnered with in platonic and romantic friendships or relationships. I want to be chosen by people who love me, not just observe. I don't need no more people learning from me. I don't need no more people saying that they intrigued by me. I don't need no more people saying, "Oh, I didn't like you when I first met you, but I think you cool now." I don't want that no more. I want you to be so secure in yourself that when I come around, we can grow more. We can just expand. That's if you can't hug yourself, you can't hug others. When they show you who they are, believe it. You can quickly see it in the way that they treat other people. Absolutely. Because how you treat other people is how you feel about yourself. It's how you feel about yourself. So like I say, I don't want, emotional extraction. Um, I don't want people who has to outsource their feelings, their emotions, where um, you know, that where I have to start doing emotional labor for them. Um, Especially people who don't intend for it to go that deep, because that's another problem that people have. They'll get connected with you, right? And like, oh damn, I didn't know you was this cool. And then they actually start to like you, and they start to see like, oh wow, like I like how I feel when I'm around this person. Because like I said, the people, you are a mirror, and people don't always just see the bad; they see the good things in themselves too. So they like how they feel when they are around you. And then things started to get deep. Things started to get a little closer than they expected it to, and they realized they don't have the capacity. They don't have the capacity, but you do, because you live in the depth. You're genuine. You're a person who likes to show up for people and understand. So, and you realize that, oh, I'm holding space for somebody who won't hold themselves. They don't even know how to hold space for themselves. And here I am trying to hold space for myself, and I ain't hold space for you. I can't do that. That's too heavy. And here they are. They realizing, oh, this is too much, but they won't let it go. They won't let you go because they benefit from the good that you how good you make them feel. They benefit from your generosity and your genuineness. They won't let it go. So it starts to slowly erode. Some people are currently in relationships and friendships like this. They're in it like if you are in this, let me tell you something. This episode is not to condemn you, to tell you that you're wrong, that you're stupid. Like I said, this is my experience. I'm just here to help somebody, to give somebody the clarity that I got coming from therapy, going through faith, and just experiencing it. I'm here to tell you that you're not by yourself. I've been there too. I understand. And I understand. I'm just trying to give you language. I'm just trying to give you the language that I didn't have. This is language that I had to learn. This is insight. Okay, I'm trying to give you understanding that what you feel is right. That quiet still voice that's tapping you on your shoulder that's telling you I'm feeling like I'm giving a little more than they are actually giving. Listen to that voice. Listen to it. Because you don't want to get down the line in this 4, 5, 10, 20 years. And you're like, man, I've been in this situation the whole time and you ain't got nothing left to give. Because some people leave and then they have to rebuild it all over again. They ain't got nothing else to give to nobody, not to themselves, not to their kids, not to their friends, because they spent all these years giving it to somebody who was avoiding themselves, who didn't want to do their own personal work. And you taking all them years doing the work for them. So I'm just trying to spare you the hurt that I had to go through, And my hurt, it was needed. It was needed. I'm grateful for it because I wrote this book. It was the catalyst to help me write this book, and it gave me so much clarity. So, I just want to make sure that everybody knows who may be going through that you know it might feel like it's safe, but it may not be safe. It's just familiar. Are they giving you emotional safety? Are they holding you where you need to be held in your deepest places? Do you feel safe to empty completely with this person that you're around? Without judgment, without fear of criticism, without fear that they're going to dismiss or minimize it. Do you feel comfortable enough to do that with this person that you're currently with or people that you're currently with? Are they there emotionally or are they only there in presence only? That's a question only you can ask yourself, and they may not even be conscious of it because sometimes people